Good evening, everybody out there in Facebook world. My name is Jax McGlone, and for those of you who don't know who I am the founder and CEO of Spring Forward to Freedom. And today I want to come talk to you about a three-part series that I'm going to be doing. Today is day one, and that three-part series is going to be about living, dying, and how we can learn much from nature. So for any of you who have been following for a little while, may have heard me or seen some of my memes that I make. And you'll see that I reference Lao Tzu a lot. And if you don't know who Lao Tzu is, he's the writer of the books that I always say saved my life. Okay, and that is The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And today I'm going to be taking a little excerpt out of the Tao Te Ching. That's going to be his 76th verse. And I'm going to read that to you real quick. So it's, a man is born gentle and weak, and at his death he is hard and stiff. All things, including grass and trees, are soft and pliable in life, dry and brittle in death. Stiffness is thus a companion of death, and flexibility is a companion in life. An army that cannot yield will be defeated. A tree that cannot bend will crack in the wind. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. So, excuse me. To give you a little bit of a visual on what exactly that kind of means, all right? So if you think of a baby, right, when it's first born, you're playing with it and you're putting its feet all up by its head and you think it's funny and and the baby like, ha ha, and it farts, whatever else, right? Now, yeah, not happening, right? No, but for a baby, it's nothing because they're new. They're still very soft and very flexible. And so as the older we get, we tend to get a little bit more stiff and less flexible. And then, of course, for our Southerners out there, I'm sure you've heard the word switch more than once. And for those who are unaware of what a switch is, it is a small branch. And if you were sent outside to get a switch, and you came back in with a switch that wasn't green, ooh, you were in trouble. So the reason that you would be sent to get a green switch, green branch, would be because it was soft. And when you were spanked with it, it wouldn't break and crack. It would be more like a whip. And so it's nothing like getting hit with a switch and it wrapping around your calf or something. And so another example would be trees. You ever watch the news when they're filming the hurricanes, down in Florida or wherever, and you have the palm trees or the palmetto trees, and when they're like sideways, right? Then of course, here in Hartsville, we had oak trees this big, falling over by the roots, okay? Because those trees couldn't bend. They were too big, too thick, too old. They're hundreds of years old. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, how is this pertinent to life? How does this pertain to me, and how can I make it attainable and use it in everyday life? So your mind, all right? How many times have you had an instance where you were stubborn? It was my way or the highway. Somebody said something to you and you were unyielding. You were unwilling to listen because your mind was made up, right? So we're all allowed to have our own opinions, okay? And that's fine. To each their own, yes? Okay, but what I'm saying is, rather than be so stuck in your ways that you completely break down any way to proceed forward, any way to grow, at least be willing to listen. Okay, so when you're willing to listen, you might learn something new. Your opinion before might be based on knowledge that you didn't have. Okay, so if you're given newer information, it might change your mind. Okay, so we're reminded, so what's hard is strength, what's soft is weak. But yet when you're pliable and flexible, you'll actually get farther. Whereas people that are under stress tend to break sooner. Okay, so this is day one of how we can use nature and help us in living and dying. And I will bring you part 2 tomorrow. And in the meantime, I implore you to explore the areas where you're rigid and decide to be willing to at least listen. All right, this is Jax McGlone, and I will see you guys tomorrow for part 2 of our 3-part series.